Hi everyone, I am Allison Frederick, ARC Seminars resident CBIST or Certified Brain Injury Specialist Trainer, and I am the presenter for the CBIS exam prep course offered through ARC Seminars in conjunction with the Brain Injury Association of New Jersey. So we felt like it was time to do a little bit of an updated FAQ for CBIS, or the Certified Brain Injury Specialist exam prep course, exam itself, and the certification. So a lot of the questions that we get about this course have to do with eligibility, like who's eligible to apply, I've worked here, I've worked there, how do I kind of confirm that I have, what is needed? Well, I'm gonna help you out with that. So the first step is that you have to have 500 verifiable hours in working with persons with acquired brain injury. Now, those hours can be gained through academic internship or through paid employment. Now, it's important to remember that unfortunately, volunteer work does not count. This experience has to have been obtained while you were working under a professional license in some way, shape, or form, okay? And the way that is confirmed is that when you go to fill out the CBIS application itself, you have to identify either a current or past supervisor or a current or past colleague that can essentially attest that what you put on your application is accurate and that you have the required numbers of hours and experience needed to sit and pass for, sit and take the exam. You do not have to have an approved application to take the prep course. A lot of folks choose to take the course, figure out if they want to pursue the certification, and then pursue it down the road. That's perfectly fine too. A lot of people just want the information and want the refresher, hoping to kind of reinvigorate their clinical practice a little bit and kind of catch up on what's the latest and greatest in the acquired brain injury world. So now remember, acquired brain injury is a pretty broad umbrella term, and it includes both traumatic and non-traumatic brain injuries. So now remember, a traumatic brain injury is an injury that's sustained to the brain by an outside force, right? Either if you hit your head, getting into the car, or somebody gets assaulted, gunshot wounds, motor vehicle accidents, falls, any type of outside force that is causing that injury. And then a non-traumatic brain injury is one that's caused internally. And it's important to note that stroke is considered a non-traumatic brain injury. So working with people who have survived and are living with stroke also does count. But please keep in mind, this is not a stroke-centric course though, okay? Because as we know, stroke is its own animal and has its own breadth of research and own courses specifically dedicated to stroke rehabilitation and recovery. So, the exam itself can be a little bit intimidating, but included in ARC Seminars CBIS exam prep course, you not only get 13 hours of live instruction via Zoom with yours truly, but you also receive the course materials such as course slides, study guides, other reference items, and things that I kind of talk about and bring up a lot during the course that have helped me in my clinical practice with acquired brain injury. I tell everybody that I just don't teach to the test, okay? I want you to not only leave the weekend and leave the course feeling like you're prepared to take the exam, but also that you have some real actionable items that you can utilize in your practice the next day, okay? Passing the exam obviously is very, very important because you want to obtain your credential, but we gotta take a step back and look at the bigger picture, right? We have to really look to enhance our practice as well as obtain that certification. So once you take and pass the exam, you do have to renew the certification on a yearly basis. So the way that you renew is that you fill out the renewal application when the time comes and pay the renewal fee, which is $70. But you also have to complete 10 hours of continuing education that pertains to working with people with acquired brain injury. And that continuing education can be gotten through going to professional conferences, doing journal article reviews, attending online webinars, and all of those types of things. The Brain Injury Association of America does ask that you obtain your CEUs from 2 different mediums though. So for example, all of your CEUs cannot just be obtained through journal clubs or pre-recorded webinars. You have to mix in some live courses as well. They like people to be well-rounded and really demonstrate that they are really kind of at the forefront, on working with people with acquired brain injury. So now, it's also an important point to bring up that the Brain Injury Association of America and the ACBIS, or the Academy of Certified Brain Injury Specialists, have started offering the textbook, The Essential Brain Injury Guide 5.0, as a digital option. There's no longer hard copies of the Essential Brain Injury Guide 5.0. So if you would like to purchase the digital copy, in your registration link, we do include information on how to do that, and it is a separate purchase. And the Brain Injury Association of America's website will give you further details on how to access the digital copy, and then how long you have access to it, and the different things that you can do with that. The text is not essential to taking the course and the exam. I provide more than enough information and background and tips and tricks throughout the course of the weekend that you can use, that will help prepare you to take and pass the exam. So the exam itself is multiple choice, 5 multiple choices actually, to be specific, so that, A through E option, so you really have to be very careful and be very focused on reading the question and making sure you're reading the question thoroughly, so that way you can answer. The ACBIS now utilizes a automated proctoring system, so you can take the exam whenever you'd like. However, a little caveat to that is that if you choose to take it, let's say on a weekend or over the course of a holiday or in the evening after normal business hours, and you have any technical issues or glitches, you will have to wait until the next business day to get in touch with the Brain Injury Association so they can help troubleshoot that for you. So, us here at ARC will help you as much as we can, but when it comes down to, the tech things related to the application itself, as well as taking the exam, we do not have anything to do with that. We don't have access to that. So that is something you do have to get in touch with the Brain Injury Association of America for. So with all of that being said, it can sound a little bit overwhelming and being like, oh, sounds like too much for me, I can't do it. Well, I'm here to tell you that you can. And it's not as overwhelming as it seems to be. And we here at ARC make it a point and really make it our mission to make applying and obtaining the certification as user-friendly and easy as possible, because, people are surviving more and more traumatic accidents nowadays, and they're living with these really serious acquired brain injuries. And we need more clinicians out there like yourself to really jump in and take control of their education and obtain these certifications and learn more, so that way you can continue to provide the quality of care that you want. It is important to remember that just obtaining a certification doesn't make you a better clinician. It doesn't. Is it nice to put on your resume? Absolutely, it's nice. However, you need to remember that certification is only as good as the person obtaining it, right? So, you have to stop and think, what am I going to do with this? How am I going to use this effectively? Well, as always, I'm glad that you asked and had that thought, because what the CBIS exam credential does is it really provides you with a solid foundation of knowledge for acquired brain injury and empowers you to take the next step and think outside the box in working with your patients with these types of injuries. It empowers you to start developing programs. It empowers you to start reading the research and interpreting that research, which can be challenging at times, especially if it's not something you do all the time. It can help you utilize that evidence-based practice and make it into something that's going to be useful and effective for the facility, for your colleagues, as well as the people that you're working with and helping them recover. I will get into in a separate video a little bit more about how to effectively use your certification, but those are just some of the important points that I'd like you to consider if you're still on the fence about obtaining this certification. So as always, we here at ARC Seminars are here to help. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. My email is allison@arcseminars.net. And I would love to chat with you and set up a Zoom call and really kind of talk through your questions and your challenges and how I can best assist you with not only obtaining your CBIS, but also using it to its full advantage.